everybody. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Lakeland Insights. We are here at the Pansler Law Firm with Karl, and Karl is gracious enough to give us his presence and time and thoughts on some great issues today. And so first of all, Karl, we're going to be talking about personalized service. And one of the things I always do with business owners here in the area is we kind of get to know you a little bit. So if you want, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself, the business, and what you guys do?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thank you very much, Scott, for having me on your show. It's a privilege. It's an honor.
Absolutely.
And to answer your question, my name's Karl Pansler. I'm the founder here at Pansler Law Firm. I've been here, for more years than I really care to think about. But I'm a Lakeland native, and I've lived in this city all my life. It's a great city. I'm honored, I'm privileged to live in the city of Lakeland. I travel quite a bit, and I have a lot of lawyers that come in from out of town.
Awesome.
Most of them, a lot of them, have never been here before. And they'll come in here and they'll tell me, "You have such a great town," and it has such a great feel, and it really does.
Yeah.
You get out, you walk around, and I tell you, there's a lot of places throughout the United States that they're trying to replicate what we have here in Lakeland. But Lakeland is a fantastic town. Every time I travel and my plane lands,
Yeah.
I tell my staff I could get out and kiss the ground that I walk on because I'm really happy to be home.
Right.
It feels good. So, but a little bit about me. I attended Southeastern University. I graduated in 1982. I went to law school, graduated in 85. I was the youngest member sworn in, and I think the record still holds in the Oklahoma Bar Association. Somehow
Awesome.
I got through law school, and somehow I got through the bar exam, and I'm still waiting for my recall.
Right.
I don't think they could read my writing, so somehow they pushed me through.
I don't know if you'll be in one of those anytime soon.
But anyway, and I wanted to come home to raise my family.
Awesome.
And so here I am all these years later, and just chugging along. I love being downtown here. And what I do is personal injury, medical malpractice. You may have heard some of my ads out there, or maybe seen some of the stuff that I do on television or the radio, in the Ledger and so forth. And I think that there's a lot of guys out there, a lot of lawyers out there that will tell you that they do medical malpractice and personal injury work. What they do is they'll get you to come in and sign their agreements, and then they'll refer you out to somebody. And that's just the way it
Right.
is. And then they get 25% of the fee, and they're not doing much for that. What we do here at the Pansler Law Firm, and specifically in my practice, is I try to offer personalized attention. I think that's very important. And I limit myself. You can't do everything, and you can't be everything to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these law firms that you see, and they're right, if you turn on your television right now, I promise you're going to see a pile of lawyers telling you this and telling you that, and they actually, a lot of them, don't do what they're telling you that they do. They kind of do, but not really. But it's legal, and there's nothing that's violative of the Florida bar rules about doing that. It's perfectly fine. But you have to be somewhat savvy if you have a good case out there and you want somebody to handle it. You need to make sure that you have a personal relationship with the attorney that's going to actually handle your case. You need to sit down with the attorney from the very beginning. And you shouldn't be meeting with a paralegal. They shouldn't be sending an investigator to your house to sign you up, and because that happens a lot. And then you sign their contract, they open the file on it, and you call up for a status report. You're lucky if you ever get a chance to talk to your lawyer. That's just the way it is. And turn your television on now, and you're going to see those guys. We're not about that. We're not ambulance chasers. We're not out there trying to get all of the business. What I do is very specific and very particular. I do medical malpractice. It's a complicated area. There's not a lot of lawyers that know how to do that. You better be careful because there's a lot of minefields in that area of practice. And personal injury practice. And I find that if you're going to do automobile accident cases, trucking cases, fall down cases, anything dealing with negligence, you need to make sure that your lawyer has trial skills. That's a big deal in this business.
Absolutely. I can imagine.
There's a lot of guys out there that will advertise for this kind of stuff. Check out their trial record. Ask them when the last time was that they tried a lawsuit. Some of these guys haven't tried a lawsuit for over 10 years, and some of them have never tried one in their life.
Yeah.
There's one very prominent attorney, probably one of the more prominent attorneys out there. I can tell you, he hasn't stepped into the courtroom ever. In fact, the only time he ever goes to court is when he goes to the food court there at the mall.
Right.
Anyway, I like to do that.
That's awesome. Who doesn't like to go to the food court,
I love
right?
the food court.
So, Karl, tell us, obviously, you talk a lot about personal attention, and that's going to be the topic today. But before we dive into that necessarily, tell us a little bit about why you got started in law and why you stayed in the industry so long and what you are so passionate about.
I appreciate that. I got started in the law back when I was in middle school. There was my middle school civics teacher. She saw something in me that a lot of people didn't seem to see. But she had this moot court.
Yeah.
She had to build civics class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she picked me to be one of the attorneys. And I wasn't the best.
No way.
But she saw something in me, and so I'm very grateful to that teacher, Connie Harris, back there at Crystal Lake Middle School. It was Crystal Lake Junior High at the time. Now they call them all middle schools.
Right.
But this is back in the 8th grade, and I enjoyed that process, and I thought, well, maybe I should be an attorney. And my family is, most of them are ministers or teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you could say I'm the black sheep of the family. That's what I tell people. That's how I got started, and I never really deviated. I never wanted to be anything else.
That's awesome.
I always wanted to be a trial lawyer. I feel like that's my calling in life. That's what I do. That's what I do well. And I enjoy it this year.
That's awesome, and so many times in these interviews, and with different business owners, we talk about you got to follow your passions and, what you're excited about. And, if you're doing what you love, then, you're not really ever working a day. And so it's so awesome to just keep hearing that trend. And, let's kind of dive into the topic. I know everyone's probably really excited to hear about that, but tell us a little bit about why you picked that and, what that kind of means to you.
Yeah. And Scott, I do love what I do.
Right.
I tell people I have the best job in the world. I had a staff meeting this morning. I sat right down here at the table and was talking about this with my staff this morning and how much I enjoy trying lawsuits. I am a litigator, but when people ask me, what do you do? I don't tell them I'm a litigator because that has a bad connotation.
Right.
There's a lot of litigators, somebody that's sitting across the table harassing you in a deposition. I'm not that. I like to go down and I like to try cases. I like to seek justice, and it's all about enforcing the rules of our Constitution, seeing that the rules of justice work for everybody, and making sure that certain individuals within our society are not just swept away on the streets.
Yeah. Really righting a wrong for you is what you're
righting a wrong
about.
And there's a lot of cases that'll come in where they may be legal, but I don't, they're just not what I do.
Yeah.
But I tell my staff, if you'll get me a trial date, I can bring justice to the world. That's
awesome.
Truth.
That's
if
awesome.
I can have a trial date, then I will bring justice to the world. When I was a young attorney, I worked for a firm, and they just said, here's the file, go try this case. That's kind of sink or swim.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that experience because that was an experience that was just life-changing. I tried a lot of cases. I learned how to do it. And I learned truly that I had made the right choice for my profession. And I still love it. This year I've tried 2 cases. I've had one was against the Polk County Sheriff's Office that ain't easy to tangle with.
Right.
We got a very good result in that case. The other one was against a large insurance company. Had a team of insurance companies harassing me every day. But we went and we got that client justice. They offered this man $1,500, $1,500
Wow.
pre-suit. And the jury, in their infinite wisdom, gave us $300,000. They saw the justice in that cause, and these are the kind of results that I bring my clients.
Yeah.
In both of those cases, they were younger people.
Yeah.
And what's extremely gratifying to me, and this sounds kind of hokey, but this is what makes me tick. Both times in those cases when the jury verdict was announced, those young people hug me and they thank me and they cry. And that's a great experience.
Yeah.
And you can bring justice, especially to the young people in the world, because they get pushed around by a lot of people. And I hear it all the time, sitting at this table. This happened to me. And young people, and when I say young people, I mean people in their 20s,
Right.
in their 30s. They don't understand, quite how the world should work. They have a deep sense of justice, and they can tell when something's not fair, but there's not a whole lot they can do about it.
Right.
And they really do get pushed around. I feel sorry for them.
Right. Yeah.
And my kids go through that. I mean, they'll tell me
Yeah.
something, experience that they've had, and that ain't cool.
Yeah.
It's just not cool.
And so I can really tell when you're talking about how much you love this and helping people and what you do, that kind of with this whole topic of personalized service, you really dive in and you really pay attention to your clients' needs and help them through the process and give them specific individualized attention.
Right, and you have to, it's like Clint Eastwood said once in a movie, a man's got to know his
Right.
limitations. Well, I know mine.
Right.
I got a lot of them, but I do know mine.
Yeah, you have
And
to.
I have to sit at this table a lot, and, I say no a lot because I don't want to get strung out. I want to be there for the right causes of action. I want to be there for the right clients. That's why I don't do it all, and I'll try to. I'm board certified. I've been board certified for, I think they grandfathered me in now. I don't have to do But anyway, I've done it for a long time, and I truly do enjoy it. It's a joy to be able to practice law in America. I'm an American trial lawyer, and I don't shy away from that label. Years ago, the insurance industry made the American trial lawyer something that was almost a pariah.
Yeah.
But I embrace it. We've had some great people in our country that were trial lawyers.
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson was a trial lawyer.
Yeah.
People don't know that. John Adams was a trial lawyer.
Wow.
He defended the British soldiers in what they call the Boston Massacre. And he won their acquittal. And he paid a political price for that, but it was the right thing to do. Eventually he became president, and one of the reasons why he almost didn't become president is because of that fact. They said he was a Tory. They said he was too close to the Brits.
Yeah.
And because of that trial. And Abraham Lincoln was a trial lawyer. He represented a number of people in all kinds of actions, and also represented corporate America and train companies. And interestingly enough, one of the cases that he was involved in, he won, and he sent his bill to the train company that had hired him. And it was one of the generals that eventually he had a problem with in the war, but that particular person wouldn't pay his bill. Said it was too much.
Wow.
So he had to sue.
Wow.
Lincoln had to sue his own client to get paid. Well, he won.
I'm sure he did.
And he won, and he got paid. And if anybody's interested, you can contact me. I'll tell you which general that was. He was the general that Lincoln said had the slows.
Yeah, and so like you said, it all comes down to knowing, first of all, knowing who your client is, and obviously what you want to stand for. And I think in business in general that that applies to all types of businesses. We talk about this a lot on Lakeland Insights, but you have to know who your client is. You have to know why you're in business, what you stand for, what you're passionate about, because not all clients, not all people are a good fit for every business. And so that obviously comes out a lot in you talking about your profession and what you do. How have you guys taken some specific measures to implement personalized service with your clients specifically?
What I tell my clients when they come to my table and hire me, retain me, is I tell them, you've got my phone number.
Awesome.
I may not be able to talk to you at the exact time that you call, and a lot of questions can be answered by my staff because they're more involved in this process. But some of them, you just need to talk to your attorney, and you need to be comfortable with your attorney. And you need to know that if you need to talk to your lawyer, you can pick up that phone,
Right.
and at some point in time, you're going to get a chance to talk to him or her. So what I tell my clients is I may not be able to pick up the phone at that minute. I may not even be able to get back to you that particular day. I might be in court. I might be at depositions, out of town, flying, whatever. But what I tell them is I will get back to you within 24 hours. You'll hear my voice on the phone. And that's how it ought to work.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like that out there in the real world with a lot of places that do what I do.
Well, we talk a lot about, like, small businesses compared to franchise. You know how that service can be more personalized, because in franchise a lot of times you have, and maybe this doesn't necessarily apply to, I'm sure there's legal franchises out there as well, but a lot of times when you have just a huge franchise, you have people that are just employees, and you don't have that individualized touch that, hey, here's my number, if you need anything, call me. And maybe I'm busy at that exact moment, but the communication is there and the intention is there.
Yeah.
Of, hey, I'm here for you and I want to help you.
And that carries over not just to a particular legal matter.
Right.
I tell my clients when we have a closing, when the case is over and we're here, basically signing the closing documents. I tell them, and this is part of my standard talk that I give them, but I mean it every time I give them. I am not your former attorney.
Right.
I am still your lawyer, and I'm your friend.
Right.
And you have a personal relationship with me, and that carries over, and it goes past the closing. I get a lot of clients that call me, and it's repeat business.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing. That means more to me than anything else when I have a client that comes in and says, well, you represented me 10, 15 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever. And I appreciated that, and they hire me again for whatever legal matter they have. And a lot of times during the pendency of the legal matter, they might have a question about this or that. I don't practice all of it, but I've done this stuff for so long. I know a lot about the law in other areas. I can answer a lot of questions from my clients.
Awesome.
And that might not pertain just to their particular legal matter that I'm handling at the time.
Awesome.
So I feel confident enough to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. How have you seen that compared to your experience in the industry, whether it be with some other experiences you've had or other experience with other firms? How have you seen that personalized service going above and beyond for your client? How have you seen that play out in your business? How has that affected your clients? Well, obviously, you said they come back to you and they have that relationship, but
that's a big thing with me. The personalized service is something that seems to stick with people, and I actually advertise that personalized service because that's what I do here. You don't see that out there.
Right.
I don't know if anybody else is talking about personalized service. Part of it is because they can't give it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just fact of the matter. They can't give it to you. They're with a large firm, and they don't have that kind of time. And actually, the rules are such that you're not going to get. There's rules out there for large franchise firms where they say you're not going to have that much client contact because they don't want that attorney talking to that client about this or that.
Yeah.
They've got somebody on down the line that's going to talk about that.
Okay.
They want that attorney to be doing other things. That's one way of doing it, but it's not the best way, in my opinion.
So would you say a lot of those other businesses, franchise firms, whatever you want to call them, would you say what's the main issue with that? Are they taking on too many clients, or are they just trying to, or do they not have the lawyers actually focused on, or the lawyers focused on too many things, I guess?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
They want it all.
Mm-hmm.
When you see them advertised, they go from from A to Z.
Right.
They want everything.
Right.
We're not all about that. I'm not all about that. What I try to do is be very specific. I've got a niche in the market.
Yeah.
I have found my niche, found it many years ago, and it's what I do well. And it's trial work, and it's specific to medical malpractice and personal injury. And I know that, when you talk about medical malpractice, this guy's out suing doctors. Well, let me tell you, I sue the bad doctors. Somebody comes to this table with a good case against a good doctor, that's not going to litigation. That's not going to trial. That case is going to get resolved.
Right. Exactly.
But what I see is people horribly injured by the same physician over and over. And these are not good people. They shouldn't be even licensed by the state of Florida.
Right.
And they've got, the rule now, 3 strikes and you're out. I'm happy to say that I've put some of these guys out of Florida because I've been privileged enough to throw that strike for that third ball for the strike.
Yeah.
So, there's the byproduct of what I do is cleaning up the medical industry. Because if it wasn't for guys like me out here, your health care would be a lot less. If it wasn't for guys like me out here, the products that you pick up at Walmart or any retail store off the market, off the shelf, it's not going to be as well made. I had a case come in here not too long ago where a young lady bought a dirt bike from a very reputable dealer out here. Somebody that if I said the name, you would know. Thing broke right in half. It broke. The handlebars broke in half while she was riding it.
Yeah.
And she was horribly injured.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing should not even have been on the market. We traced it back. I think it came out of China. They're putting this junk out on the market for our kids here in Polk County. That's not the way it should be done. And so, you know, the byproduct is I make a safer society.
Awesome.
So, you know, I know that I'm a big target out there. Trial lawyers, attorneys, you know, people have a lot of things that...
a lot of preconceived notions.
Sometimes my skin is as thick as my head.
Right.
Anyway, that's a little bit.
Well, and I think every industry has, you know, those negative connotations, and I think all of that stems from, you know, inexperienced, you know, business owners or people in business who, you know, maybe, like I said, aren't experienced enough or don't have the right intentions even, you know, to do the right thing. You know, if I can think about numerous industries where, you know, there's bad connotations if you say, you know, a certain type, you're in a certain field. And so, you know, that I think that just, again, attests to how you interact with your clients, you know, that, hey, you know, maybe my, you know, our industry, maybe there's, you know, certain connotations, things like that, but, you know, hey, I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to, you know, make a difference. And so I'm going to make it to where that when people know who I am, you know, that they're going to say, hey, well, it's not one way or another, it's, you know, he does a great job. This person, they're always doing right by people. They're trying to make a difference. And so I think that's something that, you know, all of us as business owners can really focus on doing is whatever field you're in, whatever, you know, business you have, you know, it all starts with being excited and passionate and wanting to do the right thing. But, you know, you have to do that. You have to do the right thing. If not, you won't be successful.
And you do the right thing one day at a time, one client at a time, 1 hour at a time.
Yeah.
And it's not it's like Vince Lombardi said, you know, you're going to do the right thing all the time. It's not a sometimes thing. Doing the right thing is an all the time thing, and it's a habit. And if you do the right thing all the time, it's like I tell my staff, we do things by the book around here.
Right.
That's just the way we do it.
Yeah.
And we make sure that it's done right. We make sure that we talk to our clients. We treat them as human beings. We're there for them when they need legal assistance. And we make sure that they get their day in court if that's truly what they want.
Right.
And because I'm willing to go try a case, it seems like I don't do as much as I wish I could. But usually if I'm trying a case, somebody on the other side has made a very poor decision.
And you know, there's a lot of very successful people that we're all familiar with, you know, who, you know, like Grant Cardone is one that I love. And, you know, he says, you know, if you want to make $1 billion, help 1 billion people. And, you know, it's about serving and doing well for others. And so, any other thoughts on this personalized service that maybe we didn't get to?
Well, you know, you won't see me out there with a 1-800 call Karl.
Right? Call Karl.
Not that. I'm not open 24 hours a day. I can't give you my cell phone number because I can't have that ringing when I'm in court or so on and so forth. And I'm not very good with my cell phone. And I'm horrible at texting. But I got an office and I'm open it's 8 to 5 and business hours and we do our thing here in Lakeland. I have a Tampa office. I have an Orlando office in Atlanta, and I get around, but it's me. And I'm getting older, so I'm shutting down. But I love Lakeland. This is my hometown. Yeah. This is my base of practice. This is where I love to be, and this is where I live. Yeah. It's where my kids go to school. I raised my kids here. I buried a child here, and this is where I'm from. I am a Lakeland boy. I'm a Lakeland man, and I truly do enjoy my city here. And I do have one issue that I'd like to broach with
sure.
With the listeners out there. It's totally off the topic of the law. Now they'll start listening.
Exactly. Now they're paying attention.
But in today's ledger, my son, he's 20 years old, and there's a story behind this, but for the sake of time.
What's your son's name? Just so we know.
My son is Charles Pansler. His name, we call him Charlie. Charlie boy. He's great. He played football there at Jenkins High School, and he graduated about a year ago. He's a student at Polk State. and he works with me here at the firm. And one day, he didn't get downtown much.
Right.
One day he came back from lunch and he said, "Dad, what's that monument downtown? What's that all about?" And it's right in the middle of Munn Park. And a lot of people don't know what's there.
Yeah.
Now go look at it. I've seen it. It's a statue. It's a statue. It's a statue. Statue to the Confederate dead that was put there in the early 1900s. And today he is in the Voice of the People. In the ledger, he has this letter, and I'd like to read it if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
To your listeners here, because this is about our city, and I think it's something that we should give due consideration. Some people probably won't be for this, but I think a lot of people will be, and I certainly support this. This is his letter. Galvanized by progressive thinking, like many before me, I must question the monument placed in our city's epicenter and respectfully petition for its removal. Downtown Lakeland, the heart of our city of 102,000 people, holds an unsettling statue commemorating the Confederate dead. I am not one to disparage the importance of history, but to honor a group whose ideology consisted of the enslavement of our fellow black brethren is something I believe no rational thinking individual can condone. While rebellion from the United States and support for slavery are permanent marks on Florida's past, this does not mean our current society must celebrate the exploits of a racist culture. It is time to move on. This monument is not a historic tribute to men who served their country. It is a tribute to men who betrayed their country and betrayed the movement for equality. If the South has a right to stand up for its heritage, when will it stand up for its fellow man? The current culture of America is draped with instances of racial intolerance, and instead of contributing to that, let us donate serenity to this issue. This letter is not intended to be construed as a belittlement to the lives lost during the Civil War, nor is it a finger-waving protest fueled by the oversaturated movement of political correctness. It is rather a call for forward thinking. As a young man who has spent his life living in Lakeland, I feel it is time to finally act upon this local injustice. How are we to progress as a society if the nucleus of our city is stamped with the honoring of men who fought for the existence of an immoral institution? I read this letter when my son brought it to me, and I said, "Charlie, you need to go down and you need to talk to the city leaders about this." And I believe this.
Yeah.
I stand for this. We were coming back from lunch the other day, and what sparked it? Well, this is probably a few months ago, actually, and there's a gentleman sitting there, and he just happened to be African American. And Charlie walked up to him, and he said, "What do you think about that?" And his words were, "Well, I think it's time to move on." He knew what it was, too.
Yeah.
An old gentleman that was sitting there, and it is. It's time for the city to move on. And he has, Charlie addressed the full city commission, I think it was the day before yesterday. It's within the past few days. And this is something that, if you think that Charlie's correct on this, write your city commissioners and let them know that you agree with this. If you disagree, you're entitled to that opinion too. However, let me caution you, this is eventually going to happen. And it's like Lincoln said, right is always might. And we feel that it's time for that monument to come down. There's other places in the city where it ought to be. And we ought to have a new monument there that appeals to the youth of America, to the youth of our city. We need to move on. And this needs to go.
And so just to clarify so everyone knows, we're not saying to forget the past or the things that have happened. What you and your son are saying is, hey, let's represent something new, something going forward where, it's just everyone's equal.
Yeah, and the city, downtown Lakeland is on the trajectory to trying to appeal to young people. Well, you don't appeal to young people by putting something like that, and they know what it is.
Right.
And they know the history of what, what the Confederacy tried to do and what they stood for.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to bash, descendants of Confederates and so on and so forth. Some of them are my best friends, but some of them believe that this is the right thing to do. And if we're gonna be a city on the move, I think it's probably time that we take this old boy up there and move him to where he needs to be. There's another place for him that is already there,
yeah.
and we need to do something a little bit more appealing to the youth of America, to the youth of our city, and to put us into the right frame of mind for the future of Lakeland.
Awesome. And so, guys, as we wrap up here, that was Karl with Pansler Law Firm. I mean, I think this has been a really riveting conversation. Karl, real quick, just tell us how people can get in contact with you if they have any questions for you, or if they are possibly needing any of your services.
Sure. I'll probably get somebody calling me up telling me,
maybe,
what the heck are you talking about? Anyway, I have a website, pansler.com will get you there. And my phone number is 863-683-7500, 683-7500, and I'd be happy to field whatever calls that come in, and I'd be happy to talk to people for and against this. Maybe I can change those that are against. Maybe I can change their mind.
Right. So awesome, and thank you guys for tuning in today. Karl, thank you for your time and giving us some of your experience and input, and I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks.
Good day, everybody.
Yep.
Scott, thank you very much.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.